Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. And well, that sucked as the New York Knicks go on to drop game one versus the Miami Heat at Madison Square Garden of the second round of the NBA playoffs. The final score being 108 to 101. We are down 1-0. And this was such an important game to win at Madison Square Garden. You want to set the tone. You cannot let the Miami Heat get confidence at the Garden. If they take game two, okay. It's a tied up series, but the New York Knicks did not manage to come out victorious in game one. And the thing that sucked is that the New York Knicks had a chance to win this game. Obviously, you have a chance to win any game, but when you're up double digits at home, you hope you continue to feed off that crowd. If the Heat make adjustments, then you make adjustments. And obviously, hopefully the coaching is good, and then you're still able to fire on all cylinders. If you win by 2 points, okay. I don't care if it's a close game in the playoffs. It all comes down to the wins. It doesn't matter how many points you win by. It doesn't matter if it comes down to a buzzer beater. It doesn't matter if you win by 20 points. A win is a win in the playoffs, and the New York Knicks did not come out victorious when we were thriving in the first half. When it came to dribble penetration, finishing in the paint, R.J. Barrett's beautiful playmaking, finding Obi Toppin, cutting, utilizing his athleticism, finding Mitchell Robinson for an alley-oop. The playmaking was off the charts by R.J. Barrett in the first half. He really did a good job finishing in the basket. A beautiful mid-range shot, knocked down a three-pointer. Obviously, that was the only three-pointer he made this entire game. Did not play well in the second half because at one point in this game, he was 6 or 7 from the field, finished the game shooting at 50%, and the Heat did a really good job clogging the paint, forcing the New York Knicks to shoot the three ball, which the New York Knicks have struggled with all postseason. And we're starting to see the reality. I'm not going to say this series is over after one game, but the Heat obviously have a way better coach of Eric Spoelstra compared to a JB Bickerstaff, someone that is more seasoned, someone who has been more successful as a coach, has hold up those Larry O'Brien trophies. He's able to make adjustments on both sides of the basketball. So the dribble penetration or being able to get to the basket or get to the paint like we were killing them in the first half wasn't there in the second half. He was daring us to shoot threes. And you take a look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. So the Knicks obviously haven't been a good, consistent three-point shooting team. We've been thriving off of isolation of Brunson, finishing tough in the paint, Josh Hart, defense leading to buckets of transition, mid-range. We've definitely been a mid-range, attack-the-basket-oriented team, and we got away with that versus the Cavs because J.B. Bickerstaff's just not a good coach, in my opinion. He didn't make adjustments when it came to the paint defense. Their bench wasn't successful in the series, especially adding LeVert to the starting lineup. That wasn't a good move by the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they simply weren't a good three-point shooting team as well. So we were bad, but they were also bad as well. When you take a look at the Miami Heat, they have more consistent veterans. Kevin Love's an NBA champion. Obviously, he's not Minnesota Kevin Love, or may not even be Cleveland Cavalier Kevin Love anymore. He's getting up there in age, but he still has that veteran leadership he brings to the table. Like I mentioned, Eric Spoelstra, veteran coach who's won championships. Kyle Lowry's held up a Larry O'Brien trophy with Kawhi Leonard, Marc Gasol, and even more with Nick Nurse. So the adjustments are just way better by an Eric Spoelstra, and I honestly thought Eric Spoelstra outcoached Tom Thibodeau in the second half. Tom Thibodeau didn't throw a jab back when it came to making another adjustment to help the offense out when RJ was thriving in the first half. Don't get me wrong, I thought he took some bad angles and didn't finish well in that second half of the game, but and the Heat played well defensively. Brunson had to be more of a lead guard, in my opinion. I thought Brunson was kind of forcing things at time. I don't want to say at times. I'm not going to say that he necessarily sped him up, but there were sometimes Brunson just he didn't take good shots. He got buckets, but he was 0 for 5 from beyond the arc. He had 5 turnovers. Overall, though, this entire team was inaccurate with their passes. It was absolutely atrocious how we were not able to distribute the basketball at a high level and be accurate with their passes. It was pretty disgusting, but yeah, RJ had this excellent first half. He really did. You also take a look at Josh Hart, not expecting a lot scoring-wise, but I thought he did a good job on Jimmy Butler in that first quarter. Held him to 4 points, but Jimmy Butler went on to have a more successful second quarter, and obviously he had that, 8-point third quarter. If you would have told me Jimmy Butler would went on to drop 25 points, the Knicks lost, I'd be laughing. But you have to take a look at the other contributing factors that their bench absolutely outclassed our bench. Kyle Lowry, 18 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds coming off the bench, played some feisty defense. When RJ would drive inside, he would look to swipe down at the ball. Kyle Lowry played a good game. He's a veteran for a reason. He stepped up in the playoffs, especially when it came to that finals run when he was with the Raptors. You got to give respect to him. Kevin Love didn't have a lot of points, but he hit a big three when it came to the third quarter to help set the tone. You got to give credit as well. Gabe Vincent, he was inefficient, 6 of 16 from the overall field, but he hit 5 threes. He hit a big three when it came to the fourth quarter as well to kind of put it out of reach. We had our chances, though. The three-point shooting is just so bad, though. It was so bad, but in a moment that we were only down 3 and there was a good amount of time left, Mitchell Robinson looked like he got the rebound here. We have a chance to tie the game or cut it to a one-point game. Mitchell Robinson had the rebound, but he lost it. He knocked it out of his hands. So you got to secure rebounds like that. You really do. Obviously, Mitchell Robinson had that embarrassing airball free throw, which really summed up the game. But if you get into the percentages here, you look at the team stats, not like the Heat shot it crazy good from beyond the arc. We were just really bad. So they were 13 of 39 from three, 33%, but we were 7 of 34 from three. 20%. Obviously, Randall did not play in this game due to the ankle injury. Obi got the start, and I like the way we were utilizing Obi in that first half. We were utilizing his athleticism. That's how Obi should be utilized. He shouldn't be taking 12 threes, but you can say if it's open, take it. He did make 4 of them, so it wasn't like crazy bad or anything like that, but I would have liked to see more adjustments by the coaching, and I know you could say Eric Spoelstra's just such a good coach, but we need our coach to step up and design plays to get easier baskets at the rim or easier buckets at the rim as well. Like Obi, I didn't think any of his athleticism was utilized in the second half. We just were not able to get easy buckets. Josh Hart had an airball three-pointer at the very end of this game. We just couldn't hit the side of the board, and they were wide open threes. We're not a good three-point shooting team, but you expect them to go down. I said we needed Quentin Grimes to shoot the three ball well in this series, or at least some games, to be successful, and Quentin Grimes was not there. Grimes barely played in this game. He hit a 3 early on. What was he? One for 3, 1 for 4. Thought he played some decent defense when he was out there. Maybe Tips didn't think there was any confidence from Grimes, and he didn't go on to play him the rest of the game, or maybe his shoulder. But I don't know. I was really confused. Obviously, Josh Hart got the start, and we needed Grimes to produce off the bench, and he didn't produce offensively. Didn't play a lot of minutes. But yeah, came down the bench. You had Martin. That 8 points, he plays very hard defensively, but Emmanuel Quickley is definitely the story of the bench and has been very underwhelming in the playoffs. He had 19 points, wasn't efficient last game, but he hit some timely shots, but Quickley sucked. He really did suck. Some people are going to look at it, he had a few buckets, but if you truly watch this game, he wasn't good defensively. He was out of control, took some unnecessary shots in unnecessary situations or situations that we didn't need him to. He was out of sorts. He was out of control. Brunson got his buckets, but I thought he was out of control as well. I didn't think Brunson played that well of a game. I didn't think anyone stepped up when it mattered most. No one stepped up when it mattered most. The Miami Heat players did. Jimmy Butler obviously hurt his ankle. He went on to continue to play because he's a warrior. Definitely respect to Jimmy Butler, but they were better. The Heat were better when it mattered most. The officiating, you could say, was awful, but the Knicks, you're not going to win games if you hit freaking 7 threes. You're not. And if you don't make adjustments, it's just bad. It was really bad. There's no consistent ball movement. You would think there would be, or actually you could say the ball movement, it's just overshadowed by the terrible three-point shooting. But do you think we need Randall back? Do you think we need that physicality? We need someone that could drive strong to the basket. Randall obviously hasn't played well in these playoffs. He hasn't at all. There's no excuses. Last game, though, I thought he was playing better driving to the basket before he got hurt, which sucked. He was starting to play some good basketball. But across the board, I didn't think anyone necessarily played well. Mitch crashed the glass really hard. He set the tone early. But Bam started to do his thing in the second half. And they needed other factors to step up if they wanted to win the game. And they did. Duncan Robinson was 0 for 5 from 3. Max Strus didn't have some crazy games. So you could look at that as a scary thing that they didn't even get going. And the Heat took control of this game at the end. You wanted to set the tone. The New York Knicks did not. Let me know down below your thoughts. Peace out, y'all.